traditionally, business requirements documents are packaged, and then everything is handed out to everybody who's involved in the project. So if you have a document, whether it's 78 pages or whether it be 780 pages, the traditional way of going about it, once you've got everything done, is to hand everything out to people. And needless to say, not everybody is interested in everything. For example, the marketing department may not, on a project, may not have any particular interest in what the accounting department is interested in, and vice versa. So if we have 50 events in a project, and 2 of those events are for the marketing department, and 12 of them are for the accounting department, why should we send all 50 events, all the documentation, to the marketing folks and all of it to the accounting folks when they're only interested in a small part of it? Now, some people would, of course, say, well, that gives them the bigger picture. Well, the bigger picture is actually in this diagram, the business interfaces diagram, which is the highest level, biggest picture, and of course in the business area diagram, where each department can see their relationship to other departments and the information they get, as well as what's contained in the business process diagrams for their department. So the bigger picture is already there. They don't need to see everything to be able to see the bigger picture. So what we found works very, very well is that we issue, because the document stands on its own. You know, an object is an object. An object called customer, for example, is a customer to everybody as long as we agree on that terminology. So what we found is that if you have a document that consists of 50 events and business process diagrams, and there's only 2 that are relevant to the marketing group, give them the information for those 2. Don't give them the other 48. Unless, of course, they say, could we have the other 48? In which case, if there's no security issue, then go ahead and give it to them. But give them their 2 rather than giving them 50. The same thing with the accounting department. You know, give them their 12 rather than giving them all 50. What this leads to is that people get a smaller document. They no longer have to deal with what they think might be too large a document, no matter how big it is. Somebody will say it's, or how small it is, somebody will say it's too big. That way, it'll help them get through it faster. Because, you know, if the document is a little bit bigger than they really want to deal with, most people will look at the front page, they'll look at the back page, and they'll say it must be okay. And what this does then, by sending them up their part, is that it helps them to sign it off very nicely. Now, the other aspect of this is that, you know, you issue this, first of all, to the people who are involved in your discovery sessions. So what they see in the document doesn't come as a surprise. They see in the document exactly what they saw when you were doing the discovery sessions with them and creating the business process model, writing the narratives, attributing the data, going through the business rules table and generating the rules. They see all of that in this document that you give to them. So it doesn't come as a surprise. If you're issuing this document to somebody who is not involved in any of the discovery sessions, then it's probably a good idea that you include in the front end an overview of how to read the document and be available for questions as well. And part of the templates that we're giving you will help you to be able to do that. This works very, very well because it minimizes how much stuff they have to go through and how long it takes them to go through it. You want to be able to get through it quickly. You want to be able to get a sign back. And remember that the people who are signing back should be the people involved. It's, in my opinion, it's rather difficult to get a sign back from someone who wasn't involved. You know, they should be able to trust their own people and say, yep, that's exactly what we're working with, that's what we want. You get the sign back. Remember also, the information in here, in this document, when it's done, the information that you have including the narratives and the data attributes and the business rules and all that stuff, comes from their knowledge, not from the knowledge of the analyst. And remember what I said earlier, is that the vast majority of people don't really disagree with themselves. So if it's their stuff, you get that elusive client buy-in, because if it's theirs, they're not going to disagree with it very much. But it's also a way, when it's small, for those that are only involved in a couple of processes, they'll go through it with a fine tooth comb to be able to make sure that you got what they said. So this is a really, really good way of getting it out and getting it back fast.